time is 6:02. We'll now call the special public meeting of the Board of Trustees of Humboldt Independent School District to order. And our first order of business is we will adjourn to closed session. Closed session of the board will now be held on matters contained in the notice for this meeting. Should the board determine that any final action, final decision, or final vote be required with regard to any matter considered in such closed session, then such final action, final decision, or final vote will be made upon reconvening of this public meeting in open session. The time is now 6:03. The time is now 8:22 p.m. We'll now reconvene into open session. First item is A, questions or comments by patrons or employees of the district regarding agenda items or any other matters.
Point of order, Mr. President.
Yes.
I've just got a quick question. Why did you call for this special meeting leading into the Christmas weekend when the district's closed? Limited staff is available. Trustees were invited to the meeting without a polling of the board to see who was available and without any description of the content of this meeting.
I called it because I was asked by two board members who have been acting as liaisons that they said it was urgent to do it, and that is the reason why I told them that they were free to call the meeting, and that's why it was called.
So we didn't follow board policy, and we didn't poll the rest of the board.
Yeah,
And we were not given
yeah,
the same
okay,
information
yeah.
that they were given in order to make that decision.
Sure. I have no further comment to give to you. I've just said my reason
Okay,
for
well,
why
only
we
the
did it.
board president can call for a meeting.
And it was called.
Not by you.
Okay.
Okay, we have some technical difficulties here in the attorney, so, you want me to get her on the phone? She can hear us and she can see us, but she can't,
We can't hear her.
we can't hear her, so I need her phone number so I can call her. All right. You want to write it down?
I can text it to you, Jamie. You text it to you, Liz. Did you get it?
Okay. Okay, Ellen, can you speak?
Yes, thank you. Just for clarification purposes, I wanted to make sure the board is aware of this board policy BE regarding the calling of meetings.
Did you all hear that or not? They're saying you should mute your computer. No. Did you say policy BE? Policy B like in boy, B like in elephant? And what about it? board president's discretion, the board president can call meetings under policy BE, or by 2 members.
Then we have a conflict because BE also says for special board meetings, in the event of a request by a board member to hold a special meeting, the superintendent shall poll all board members to determine whether a quorum of the board members is willing and able to attend the special meeting.
Hold
Tell
on.
me where that is in BE.
BE local under board meetings.
Are you looking at board operating procedures or board policy?
I'm looking at board operating procedures, and its related policy is BE local board meetings.
So board policy will control over board operating procedures. If there's a conflict, and I see a conflict.
You do see a conflict?
Yes, it could be interpreted to be a conflict, yes, sir.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
As I mentioned, it's board policy that controls this particular issue, not operating procedure. Okay, but, so the attorney,
Said that there's
Stated
a
that.
conflict.
and when there's a conflict, it's actual policy, both legal and local, that controls, not the operating procedures. So, okay. So as I
Can we get
was-
confirmation on that from the lawyer?
I thought that's what Jamie just relayed to us.
That's what I said.
If you just have it on your speakerphone, will we be able to hear it?
Can you say something, Ellen?
What is what you said?
Okay, moving on to, as I started to say, opening items. Item A, questions and comments by patrons or employees of the district regarding agenda items or any other matters. We have 3 individuals signed up to speak. First is Thomas Newman. And since we have less than 11 speakers, each speaker will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, members of the board. I find myself in the unenviable position of making a public comment. Rather than advising the board, I am compelled to defend myself from them, or at least some of them, which is very disheartening. You might imagine my surprise when I learned that this meeting had been called. I have only been the district's general counsel for 2 months. While I was surprised that the meeting had been called, the reasons are no mystery. The first reason is personal animus and conflicting interests of some of the board members. And those interests have been elevated above the interests of the school district. The second reason is over the course of the last few weeks, I've discovered evidence that Craig Wood and his staff have been missing deadlines and billing the district improperly. I have fielded telephone calls and emails from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and private counsel, both informing me that Craig Wood has failed to submit legally required responses on behalf of the district. It is a chronic problem. Additionally, I discovered evidence that Craig Wood is potentially opening up the district to significant liability by the way he has handled the cases currently assigned to him over the last several months, and his staff have been doing the same thing relative to open records requests, which they are handling, strangely, on behalf of Humble ISD. Also last week, as part of my duty to approve payment of the district's legal bills, I requested copies of the retainer agreements being used by outside firms which Craig Wood is contracted with on behalf of the district, despite having no apparent authority to do so. I received no response. Instead, when I made Craig Wood and the members of the board aware of what I had discovered, 4 days later, Ms. Parker called for this special session to discuss my employment. The board should be aware that legal proceedings were filed today against the district and each board member individually. In addition to the issues I specifically warned the board about, the filing alleges and includes exhibits that Craig Wood has been holding himself out as Humble ISD General Counsel and that board members have criminally violated the Open Meetings Act in reliance on his advice. All of this is self-inflicted by listening to Craig Wood and could easily have been avoided, and yet it is Craig Wood that this board relies upon in dealing with me. Interestingly, my request to Craig Wood and Mr. Scarfo to provide me with justification for this meeting went completely unanswered. Equally interesting is when the board considered whether to continue retaining Craig Wood, he was allowed to attend the closed session in order to take part in the discussion. Yet my request for the same consideration and opportunity was denied by the board president. In the 2 months I have been here, I have had my job threatened 3 times in retaliation for nothing more than providing solid legal advice to the board and trying to protect the district and the families and the children that go to school here. This has to stop. I will not allow my job and my family's security to be constantly under threat. And mind you, retaliation and threats of retaliation are unlawful. Consequently, I will be contacting the Education Commissioner after this meeting.
Time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Lissa Powell.
I don't even know what to say. First of all, I'm sorry that you guys had to be pulled away for your families on Christmas break. This is gross. I spoke at the last board meeting, and almost a week later, I was chastised and called out by Mr. Grabarski in his latest email blast. Mr. Grabarski, when sending out your monthly email blast, you are signing your email as an official Humble ISD trustee, a citizen elected to represent the people of the entire school district. You don't represent me. How is this working in harmony with the other 8, team of 8? You are a team of 8. You are supposed to work together. Why are the speakers out of a board meeting being ostracized and called out in your email blast? Is this a violation of the Open Meeting Acts? Because I'm pretty sure it is. It's clear you don't represent the entire school district, including the LGBTQ population. In your email, you used a quote which ridiculed children and their parents for their private family matters. You want to ban books. You want to close a free clinic and nominate for the minorities of this district. How does this fit in with the entire school district? Ms. Parker, I emailed the board asking about tonight's meeting. Several of the board members clearly did not know about this. I'm questioning the ulterior motives, now I know why, for calling a special board meeting during the Christmas break. Why are we breaking precedent and attempting to terminate an attorney at tonight's agenda without the recommendations from the superintendent? No other general counsel has been fired by a district, much less the school board. I'm just so upset. I mean, have you seen these allegations? Have you seen this lawsuit? Is it true? Have you hired these lawyers and these firms in closed session without voting on it in open session? Have you made these decisions as listed in the lawsuit in closed session without voting on it in open session? The open records requests that I sent, are you ignoring them? I've already been bullied and retaliated against. What do I expect? You're supposed to represent us, and you're not. You are supposed to represent the children of the district. That is the main thing, the children. The children are suffering because you are too busy bickering and fighting, trying to fire attorneys for something because you got your feelings hurt. It's sad, it's pathetic, it's disgusting. Do better for our children.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. Next on the list is Scott Ford.
I actually have a celebration I wanted to share with everybody. So I came back in September 22 last school year to fix a broken IT certification program and make it better. And over the last semester, I've hosted several boot camps, review sessions on our own time on Saturdays over at AHS, where we've had students, faculty, and staff join us. And last Saturday, not even a week ago, I am happy to announce we took a huge step forward. A bunch of students and myself went to P3 specialized training on Old 1960 by 59. They were fantastic with our kids, by the way. And 4 trailblazers got certified in CompTIA ITF Plus certification. This was the first time in the history of this district. So while we had the historical first statewide football game, we also had kids who were getting certified for the very first time, setting a precedent in our district. The students who did not pass their certification exam missed it by 3 to 5 questions, but we are going to have more review sessions in February and spring break and at the end of the school year. And I'm giving y'all notice right now, at the end of the year, I'm gonna have about 20, 30 kids up here. We're gonna take pictures, they're gonna be getting certified in ITF, A+, and we're gonna be ready for the cybersecurity program that you all approved not long ago. Now, for the parents out there and the guardians who are watching this on YouTube, you can get your kids in this program. This is going to be a very unique program in the state of Texas, and I would suggest your freshman, sophomore years, they enroll in Principles of Information Technology. This is a course that's currently only being taught on one campus, I believe. However, having been an instructional designer for many years, I am gifting the district a $30,000 present, free licensing of an entire course. You have access to my testing software, you have access to my PowerPoints, you have access to my notes, and I'm also writing a book right now with the publisher. That I can't give it to you, because that's through the publisher, but all the other stuff you need to run this program on any high school campus is there. So families out there with the kids, if you're interested, get about 10, 15 kids interested in taking the course, and I'm sure that the board and our superintendent will make that happen for you. After that, you want to sign up for the computer maintenance course. This is CompTIA A+ certification. And then, of course, the cybersecurity program. So that's all I have to say. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and remember, Schoology is the worst.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Okay. Okay. All right, moving to our next item, action items from closed session. Personnel recommendations. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. President, I move we take no action regarding in-house counsel's current or future employment.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of that motion? Opposed? Okay, motion fails. Do I have another motion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Oh, sure.
Mr. Kirchhoffer, you are no?
I'm a no.
Sorry, Mr. Grabowski?
Yes, Mr. President. I move that the board place Thomas Newman on paid leave pending the completion of the ongoing Title IX matters in order to completely insulate him and from those matters, both for his own protection as well as the protection of the school board. I further move that Mr. Newman's office be directed to forward all past and future written communications related to the PIA requests, complaints, disputes, and other related matters filed since April 2nd, 2023 for handling by Walsh Gallegos on or before 5 p.m. on Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024, as discussed in closed meeting. I move that the board direct that internal general counsel take no further action related to these matters, which will be handled by Walsh Gallegos, except to promptly answer any questions or requests for documents or information by Walsh Gallegos may have within 24 hours of receipt. I further move that the board direct internal general counsel and Sean Fashon to promptly forward to Craig Wood by email copies of any correspondence received related to these matters within 24 hours of receipt.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes 4-3.
I'm gonna need that email to me. I'll do it here.
Oh, the motion, I'm sorry, Karen, yeah.
I got you.
Okay. Okay. The time is now 8:42. The meeting is called adjourned.